I'm not joking when I say it's been 21 days since I learned about the existence of Lovable, and the immense power it's given me has already turned into paid AI consultancy. It's leveling up my AI powered automations that were already going anyway and all of that kind of work. It's hugely changed my opinion about what you can do with a landing page for Google Ads. Not even talked about this stuff with you yet. A few days ago, I made that video about Lovable, the AI autonomous coding agent, and how I felt the trapdoor fall out from underneath my current career. In reality, I'd spent probably 3 weeks maximum before then building, experimenting, and shipping ideas out to people, existing clients, and part of the network that I thought might be interested in those ideas. And what I thought would be a fun experiment has completely changed the outlook on my business. Just in those few weeks, I've landed multiple AI contracts, some of them the best I've landed in ages. Seem to have picked up more Google Ads clients off the back of it because I'm showing them what we could do with Lovable as a embellishment to their existing websites to make them sexier. And I want to talk about what's been happening, what I'm building right now, and where I think I'm going to take the business next. Most importantly, things that you could be doing as well to make money. Over those last 3 weeks, I've signed up a couple of different consultancy roles and AI development roles, for want of a better term, which is a bit of a glorified web designer meets Google Ads conversion expert building something sexy in Lovable. I'm building some of my own ideas as well, but I'll talk about the consultancy stuff. So with the connections I've got, I luckily know other agency owners, and I went in to go and see a lovely agency that I get on very well with. Very traditional. They do their work incredibly well, huge numbers of clients. I have no idea how they manage the load they manage, but they had this bottleneck, and it was a bottleneck. I can't get into specifics, but there was a problem with their development that just kept them feeling stressed and feeling like they couldn't resolve this pain, and it'd been going for a long while. So I went in there to talk automation. I've done automation and Zapier stuff and CRMs for as long as I can remember. I actually set the business up originally in like 2015 with the idea that I would go and build CRMs for businesses, which is exactly what I did at a couple of different concrete suppliers that I worked with at the time. And so I went to go and speak to them about how they were using ClickUp, are they using Zapier smartly? And while I was there, I realized that Lovable solved one of their biggest problems, which was this front end bottleneck. Sitting there with them, we realized we could combine everything I'd discussed so far into this epic solution. Ideas were flying left, right, and center. It was one of the most exciting 6 hours I've spent with a client. And what started as a little bit of an AI curiosity turned into urgency. We need this integrated in our business right now. We want you to be paid as consultants. Come and do it with us. And I said, hell yes, let's do this. This sounds amazing. And the opportunities start to fly. If you've got some established business yourself and some decent knowledge, you can sell your knowledge and sell the solution of AI as a method of minimizing friction and saving everyone time. And people are going to buy that from you. I think for me, leveraging the network has helped a lot more. I wouldn't want to walk cold into a business I didn't understand and try and do it. But if it's, but it makes me realize I can look at businesses in and around logistics and construction and maybe in other agencies, marketing agencies, and offer them solutions, which is really valuable to me and something that I will certainly be pushing. Hence why I launched a new website, which you'll see in a minute, called Steady Bow Arrow. Another project that I've nearly come to completion on, this was probably officially my first paid Lovable gig, was something quite novel that didn't feel novel. A lead form that gets filled out that turns into a chatbot scenario, all seamlessly within one module or one window. And then from the end of that chatbot discussion, at a certain trigger point, the chatbot turns back into a form which is further filled out based on the conversation. That form is submitted by the customer. That submission is then turned into a fully written report where there's some reasoning happening. So it's not just match A and match B mail merge. We're performing some agency reasoning in the background, very basic stuff really in Zapier. That's all being spat into a PDF. That PDF is having a e-signature applied to it. That's then being sent back to the customer. That thing's done. I'm nearly ready to solve that. Some of the problems I'm finding where I could imagine there's still room for development and code is spitting out JSON reliably is really difficult with GPTs because they go off and do their own thing. And the AI voice note taking tool, I had a few comments about that on here and on Instagram about me using it. So my voice note taker tool, which I can tap a button on in the last video I showed you, it would turn an idea into a web app, store it in my ClickUp, so I can just basically dump my brain. Now, things like that have existed since since OpenAI released their API for Whisper. So years and years. Audio Note, I can't remember a couple of really nice ones. The difference now is it's fully branded and it's something that I own. And I didn't realize it was such an eye-catching thing to bring to clients. Anyway, I've been building that out. So I've been adding a bit more authentication to it. security, fail safes for voice uploads. I'm even considering like logins and stuff to share it. Loads of things like that are happening as one of my side projects just to bring that up. But I've actually found there is a little niche, and again, with Lovable, a little bit of understanding of API keys, not even APIs, and backends and stuff. You can deliver this stuff to clients. I'm not joking when I say it's been 21 days since I learned about the existence of Lovable, and the immense power it's given me has already turned into paid AI consultancy. It's leveling up my AI powered automations that were already going anyway, and all of that kind of work. It's hugely changed my opinion about what you can do with a landing page for Google Ads. Not even talked about this stuff with you yet. I'm going to show you some of the stuff in a minute because I've got it here ready built. The demand's only going up, so there is absolutely a massive requirement for this. You need to have some authority. You need to speak from a place of experience, I think, to sell it. What I'm seeing when I look at these other automation agencies that are out there is a lot of them are effectively selling a bunch of prompts with no pretty front end and not much more to them than that. Finding ways to implement these beautiful front end experiences into more traditional ways, effectively just an AI wrapper, but it's got this beautiful front end. That's not in the realms of developers and front end engineers. We can do that. Anyone can do that. Now, I'm sorry it's like that, because certainly we still need these people, and we definitely need them. And when they get hold of these tools, of which they already have, the stuff they're delivering is so much more than I could ever possibly hope. So my final question is, what are you going to build? People have been commenting, and I love that. I want to share it. So I'm now going to show you what I'm up to, and then we'll see how these go in the future. And I'll happily share if I make any money off any of these. Tell me what you're doing. What are you interested in? Right, let me show you some of these tools. Okay, we're going to have a look at some of these tools. Forgive me if this popped up in the last video. This is, I know I get annoyed when I send Calendly links to people and then they have to put their own email and name in. So this should actually be pre-populated with my Calendly link. So if it was, it would just mean that anyone that wanted to book a call with me, I would know their email address, and I would know their email and I would know their name. So now, rather than just sending them a blank Calendly link via an email, which they have to hands type out and they feel like I don't respect them, now they get a link that's all pre-filled with their details in. So it should be, it's got their first name in, their email. Done. Little tiny thing just to save life. Park concierge, a friend of mine has got a fleet of trucks. He spends most of his time, much to his frustration, looking for parts, obscure parts that you can only find in Holland or you can't find anywhere. There's no one that knows where they are. He just wished there was a concierge service where you could request a part for an HGV, for a Renault truck, ZV10 or whatever. This doesn't work, but this is request a part, and this guy will go out of his way to find it for you. My friend doesn't care about the cost. He wants to run his fleet so he can make money. So yeah, this is again a front end, nothing but a fake landing page ready to go. This was a total failure. I started recording a video for this and realized I couldn't do it. I wanted a weight loss tracker. I want to hit a certain goal by May, before the summer. The idea was that you get a lovely graph that would show your weight over time, and then you could log bad days. Like, I know I'm going to be boozing at this beer festival, and you could log the bad days, and you'd see this like trend line. So you knew, oh shit, I know I've got this beer festival coming up. I really need to cut the calories. I need to see my trend go down so I can afford to have a big boozy night and still get back on track. Anyway, didn't work at all. Ballpark Pro is live. Ballparkpro.io. Stop wasting time on dead end leads. I am building tradesman micro pricing calculators like this that they can send to their customers via who message them on Facebook Messenger, message them on email, send them SMSs. They can send them a lovely, sexy, beautiful branded tool, which is actually just a ballpark estimate with a little gallery on. That customer will then say, oh no, I'd never spend that much money. Or they would say, yes, please come around. It means your tradesman knows this person isn't a time waster. I tried to make a funny site that appealed to these guys. I ran it through. I mean, the idea came from the guy that fitted my aircon unit last week. Needs to do a video about that. Building out these really fun little snazzy lead things. Really trying to make this conversion led. I thought it'd be nice to have 6 different versions of other ones rather, and it just works. This took some time, but this is live. I think this might have legs. I've still got to figure out the pricing. Still got to figure out how to get it in front of people and do the marketing. And then finally, my automation site. So the Arrow site itself. Again, they're pretty similar because I think they're probably based on the same prompts, or maybe even cloned out from the same branches. But this is my version of the Steadybow site specifically for this kind of work. Again, we've got to tie how much time and money are you wasting. just trying to draw people in so they stick around on my site. Maybe they're going to play through this. They're going to feel it's going to trigger some psychological bits. They're going to realize they're wasting all this time. They need the arrow flow system. Find the friction, leverage the automation, optimize the workflows, win back the time. That's my flow system. Next thing for me is to automate, is to AI generate some pictures of me in here, or go to find a conference room somewhere. Yeah, more stuff here. That's 5 things I can share. And like I was saying, there's those 2 or 3 or 4 things that I can't share, but I'm being paid for. Hopefully one of these. I'd love the idea. I think this could have some legs. It'd be really cool to do something with this with some trades. I think it needs more of an explainer about what I'm trying to sell them. I'm trying to sell them a ballpark calculator. And then a lot of them are like, oh, I don't get it. So yeah, ideas to figure out. The marketing comes next. Goal here is come up with an idea, get a minimum viable prototype off the ground using Lovable, get it out to the world, see if they like it, and then implement after there. This has a Stripe implementation in it, but it's simply a Stripe link. So I didn't go as far as anything beyond this. So yeah, stuff to do. Shout at me, feedback, all of it's useful. Let me know what you're doing. I can't wait to hear. Thank you so much if you paid attention all of this time. We'll speak soon. Good luck. Don't hate. Automate. Oh no, is that my catchphrase now? Fuck.